Hey everybody. So this can be like my first podcast ever. Um, don't know if I'll do more of these or whatever, but I really wanted to talk about the She-Hulk finale. So spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen it, please check in after you have. So to start off, that opening was pretty cool. I really like how they teased, or not teased, but how they really just brought back the old school Lou Ferrigno um, opening from the Hulk. So I thought that part was really, really cool. I give him props for the creativity for reusing that. Another show has been breaking the fourth wall, so kind of playing that joke on itself has been really cool. Um, but I there is more to the fourth wall breaking that I'll get into in a little bit. But overall, from episode one all the way up to episode um, 8 or 9, I think is the finale. But the fourth wall breaking, um, I have to be honest, I'm glad it's been very minimal. I feel like it's very forced. Uh, I'm not sure why the She-Hulk show has been trying to do a lot of, or medium amount of fourth wall breaking. I know it's supposed to be a fun type of show. Um, Now I'm not against fourth wall breaks at all. I know that we have some bias because of Deadpool, but I feel like this show did it in a way that was unnecessary. Um, and let's just put away the finale episode for now. But from episodes 1 and 8, she's done it a handful of times, and I feel like it was always forced. Like even in this last, oh, the penultimate episode, when she sat on the couch and she was like, "Shouldn't this episode be over?" I was like, "Why is this necessary?" And then how she threw in the little jab about like, is this is like, oh, there's a plot twist. Like, what if there's another Hulk, but it's red? That's a cool nod, but I feel like they were using her fourth wall breaks to force things to happen. And every time she did it, it kind of took me out of place. Um, Felt like it was very forced and very unnecessary. So now moving to the last episode, um, there's a particular scene where stuff's going crazy, and she essentially is talking to the camera as things get crazier. And I'm like, it's taken me out of the episode so much. Like I just feel like there wasn't a place for it, and they put it in there, and they forced it. And granted, what happens next is the what's it called? The screen swapped to like the Disney Plus browser on the app, and I was watching it on my TV. And for a second, I was like, "Oh shoot, did we press this button or something?" And then I was like, "Nah, wait, that's the episode." And so then she punches through, and then she comes out. She picks one of the other shows. She walks into it, then all of a sudden she's talking to like the writers of her own show. Um, and I'm like, this feels unnecessary. Like I know they're playing on their own jokes, retconning. Um, the next scene where they were talking about Kevin and like, um, Kevin ends up being a robot. I'm like, okay, this is kind of funny, but again, they're forcing this. She's retconning. She wants to switch it up. I think it's cool that they recognize that they have a formula and they're trying to break it. Kudos to that. I feel like the fourth wall thing was put into place because they knew that they wanted that kind of ending and they had to have a reason for it. So they said, let's have her break the fourth wall here and there so that there's at least a sense of comfortability when she does this thing at the end of the season. So she jabs about the X-Men. Cool. Thank you for, standing up for us. Um, so when she comes back in, all of a sudden it's like over. They've resolved it. Um, and Daredevil jumps in out of nowhere. and it just feels like this is all wrapping up, and I'm like, okay, cool. I know we talked about Bruce needing to come back and introduce somebody, so I'm like, okay. And then, they really did a good job with the CGI on Bruce because he had that like face where he was about to drop a bomb, and I'm like, yo, if he talks about his kid, and then immediately the next thing he says, like, I gotta introduce you to Scar. Scar comes around from behind him, and I lose it, right? I'm like, yo, they really brought in Scar. That's insane. Like, that was literally what the whole point of this episode was about. Um, and so I was watching this with my wife after the episode finished. Post credit scene. Benedict Wong picks up Emil Blonsky and takes him. He's like, I'm living in Carmitage. I guess he's looking for asylum. So after all this, my wife and I are sitting here and we watched the whole season together. We've been watching it every week, and we both agreed. I mean, I gave this episode a 6 out of 10. She gave it a 4 out of 10 because she felt lost throughout the whole thing. Um, which understandably she's not a big like Marvel head and she's not a big like TV show person, so she didn't understand the references. She didn't understand who Scar was. She didn't understand why Jen was talking about all this stuff with Kevin. She didn't understand the whole Kevin joke. This episode was completely like for us Marvel heads, right? Us nerds, us um, Marvel aficionados. So for someone like my wife who's not really into that stuff, she was completely out of place almost the entire way. She said it was chaotic. She didn't follow it. She didn't understand it. She gave it a 4 out of 10. Unfortunate. I gave it a 6 out of 10 because I could feel that the episode, albeit was fun and they tried to do something different and they made jokes on their own selves, I felt like the episode was not the ending I would have wanted for her. Um, the whole way we're following everything about her life, and then all of a sudden they just retcon or just like do away with the whole ending, and it felt like it was all there just to one have this huge like fourth wall break, and then two have this Bruce come back and introduce himself or introduce his son Scar. That was the biggest moment for me, and I know that that's going to play a lot. And I think the cool thing is they like low key confirm that um, Hulk is going to have his own movie. So I thought that was really cool because of the way Jennifer says, "Oh yeah, now save it for the movie." So it's like, oh, we know she's not getting a movie. So the Scar thing, the Hulk thing, that's going to turn into a whole movie, and I think it's going to be great. And all of us, or most of us, have been hoping for World Breaker Hulk. I want to see him crush the planet, but we'll see how far that goes. I doubt Marvel will do that. Oh, unless they do the whole Kang thing where he like destroys the planet and then they sort of like do a dimensional thing. I don't know. But overall, um, the finale, 6 out of 10 for me. I like that they brought Scar into this. They're gonna explain it. They have to. I don't like how they did the fourth wall breaking. They made it chaotic. They just forced it. From episodes 1 through 8, I really thought it was a really good show. Um, and this was, I like that it was detached. I like that they were bringing in other people. They still brought in people we knew, like Emil, Abomination, Bruce. Um, but I like that every character had like their individual thing. I like that it really felt like, oh, this could be a type of show where you could have multiple seasons, multiple episodes, and just have it sometimes attached to the overall MCU, but for the most part, you can have it detached and introduce those quirky characters from comics that you otherwise wouldn't have the excuse to put them in a movie, right? You wouldn't have to drop billions or millions of dollars to put them in a movie. You can put them in a show and still give them some type of credit, but also, you know, use the properties that Marvel owns. So I thought that was really, really cool. The Ribbit and Rip It, I was like, yo, wait, Leapfrog? Like, he's like a nobody, but they made him funny and cool. Cool in the sense of like, yo, this dude's a goofball. um, and I really liked that episode with him in it and the scenes. Um, overall, I thought the show was like really good. I think it has the right idea. Um, not with the fourth wall break, definitely not, but the right idea of just being able to have separate episodes, being her defending all types of superheroes, whether they're famous or not, or even villains. Um, and I think that they can continue down that path. I know Kevin the Robot said that they wouldn't do this fourth wall break as big in the second season. I don't see how they're going to get rid of it completely, but I almost wish they would, just because I really, really, really feel like it's forced. But overall, the entire show, I'd give it like a 8 out of 10. That finale episode was 6 out of 10, out of whack. My wife 4 out of 10. So I guess we'll have to create a rating system or something. But um, for myself, 6 out of 10. For my wife, 4 out of 10 for that finale episode. So yeah, looking forward to what the future has in store. I think the next movie is Wakanda, so we'll see what we go when we find out in there. I know there's been a lot of trailers, and I've unfortunately seen one or two of them, but I think I'm gonna hold off if they drop any more because I think it's getting into the point where I'd rather just be completely blind to it. I know that Marvel does really good about not showing too much content or like much spoiler-ish content that you can put piece together. But even still, I think Wakanda Forever is going to be a pretty important piece, and I think going into it with absolutely no expectation is probably going to be more healthy in the overall enjoyment of the film. So probably do that. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. I know I ranted here, repeated a few things, but appreciate your time listening to me. So yeah, we'll see if this becomes a thing with podcasts. I'd love to talk about shows, movies, games. So if you liked what you heard today, let's just hit the like or tune in for the next one. So keep an eye out. Thank all you guys. See you later.